Sunday night, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the Black College Experience HBCU podcast. I am one half of your Black College Experience team, Derek Thomas in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I have on with me the founder, CEO of Black College Experience out of Atlanta, Georgia, Keisha J. Kelly, MBA. What's going on, Miss Kelly?
All right. Hi, everybody. How's everybody rolling? We had a really great weekend in Black College sports. Actually, we took last week off because Derek was sick, so of course we will have to go back and recap Bayou Classic. But if you are rolling with us tonight, make sure you call in at 719-373-6861, PIN number 49170. We do have a guest in the second half, and his name is Isaac Keys. He is an alumnus of the Morehouse College. He is a Morehouse man that also played for the Arizona Cardinals, and he's now a actor. So he will be joining us in the second half. So, make sure y'all roll with us again. Call in at 719-373-6861. That's PIN number 49170. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to talk about anything that we're talking about. Also, we are on Spreaker. And I'm just going to leave it at that because I go through all those platforms and I do get completely thrown off. So we're going to just leave it at that. We are on Spreaker Live right now. So we want to kick this thing off. Let's roll it.
Well, like Keisha said last week, I was a little under the weather. Instead of sounding like my normal self, I sounded like, you don't want to hear me talk last week. But, the Bayou Classic, the annual rivalry game between the Southern University Jaguars and the Grambling State Tigers, which normally decides the SWAC West the past couple of years, went off without a hitch, and I was supposed to have been there, but the flu had me. Kels, let everybody know how the Bayou Classic went.
So for everybody that didn't follow on last week, Bayou Classic did a math between Southern Grambling and the fans and everybody in between. The attendance was 67,314 total. That's almost 68,000 people. It's a lot of people in one place, so we're excited about that. It was a thrilling win. Southern did close it out 30-28. It was with a block kick. Now, Southern did rally from a 21-3 deficit to close the gap to 17. Was it 17-20?
Well, Grambling started out 7, then Southern kicked the field goal 7-3. Then Grambling scored 14 unanswered points to make it 21-3, and that's when your Jaguars put the comeback on, Kels.
Yeah, so you went backwards. I'm at halftime now.
Oh.
I'm like,
you don't even want to talk about that first quarter.
Well, I was already at halftime. That's why I said they had closed in the deficit. So what happened was, to even close it in within 4 points at halftime said a lot about the Southern Jaguars and what Coach Odoms and their team could do. And they did. They moved in the second half, and it was very surprising. It was a great game to watch. You would have to be there to understand just how thrilling it was. But on both sidelines, I went on both sidelines, Southern and Grambling, back and forth, a lot of walking. So it was exciting to be on both sidelines, seeing both bands, both coaches, both teams, both mascots, all of it. So it was pretty exciting to, again, to be in New Orleans. But again, Southern did close out this game with a block kick. A block kick is what closed out the game. And it was that was probably like the most momentum I've had in a game in a while. But it was really exciting, and both teams played well. So right. It was a great game.
And Ladarius Skelton, he was named the Bayou Classic MVP, if I'm not correct.
Correct, he was.
Okay, yeah. And let's break down the stats in this game. Skelton threw for 181 yards, 2 touchdowns. Freshman Gerard Sims is busted on the scene, 7 carries, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hunter Register, 75 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. For the Tigers, Jeremy Hickbottom, 155 yards passing, 1 touchdown. Elder for the Tigers, 112 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. And Lennon Rash, 4 catches for 49 yards for the Grambling State Tigers. 1 turnover committed by Southern did not hurt the Jaguars from coming back and winning this game. And Kels, you know how you say you hate those 1-point buzzer beaters in basketball? I know you had to be over there like not wanting to watch as Grambling set up for that block field goal. Did you watch or did you not watch?
I did not. I can't watch those kind of plays. I don't. When those type of plays happen, is that this is exactly how this was a case of there were literally was it 10 seconds? 10 seconds left on the clock. It was 10 seconds left to play. And I did. I walked over to senior Jodeci Harris, which is from Sacramento, Louisiana. I walked over to him, and he had taken a knee. And the only thing that was left was to kick a field goal. And we know how that goes. You either hit or miss. And so I'm thinking to myself, I looked at him, he looked at me, I looked at him, he looked at me, he was on one knee. Now, y'all know the height.
Was he still taller than you on one knee?
He was probably still taller. And I said, Jodeci, I said, y'all gonna be okay. And he looked at me like, he looked at me kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever. It was kind of like he didn't believe. And I did. I turned and I walked away. Now, for people that have been in the Superdome, know it screams on both ends. So I walked away from the sideline and I walked towards the crowd. Mm-hmm. And I did not look, but I put my head down and they said, "Are you okay?" I said, "I just cannot watch this last play." I said, because somebody's going to be hurt and somebody's going to be happy. Either way, being non-biased, you hate to be the person that loses. Either way, you feel bad for the team that loses. Either way, no matter what situation, you hate to see that because in the end, it's still kids. It's kids playing for a championship. And so I'm like, okay, I walk away and put my head down, and the next thing you know, I just hear screaming. I see all the cheerleaders and the mascot running towards me, and I knew then that the game they had won the game, but I thought they missed the kick. I didn't realize until after the fact that they blocked the kick.
And speaking of blocked, I mean, this is what set up this drama. After Southern scored, Jared Sims on that 36-yard run, the Jaguars had their PAT blocked, which set up this. If Grambling could have, gotten down to field goal range, which they eventually did, to kick a game-winning field goal. So if the PAT was never blocked, if Grambling makes this field goal, that means we're going into overtime possibly. So, I mean, that's drama all the way around for this Bayou Classic. And that's the way you really want it. You want, some people like blowouts. Me, I like a drama-filled game. I mean, and that's what this game was between these two rivals, these storied programs, these two SWAC West combatants, always normally the last couple of years deciding who will go on to play in the SWAC championship game. And your Jaguars prevailed, defeating Grambling for the second straight year. And if you look at Coach Fobb's face, I mean, he said, "Damn." You can read his lips. I mean, he said, "Damn." And, it wasn't like an angry damn. It was like I should have never let this game come down to a field goal type of damn. And that's the way the cookie crumbles, or that's the way the kick is missed or blocked, if you want to look at it from that point of view. But your Jaguars prevailed and, went on to the SWAC championship game. Are we ready to talk about that now? You want to talk more about the Bayou Classic before we move forward?
No, we can move on to SWAC championship.
All right. So last year, the SWAC championship was held on the campus of Alcorn State University. For a second consecutive year, the Braves earned that right again to host the SWAC championship game on the campus of Alcorn State University in Norman, Mississippi. An awesome home field advantage, you might say, but the Jaguars of Southern were not trying to hear any of that. Trying to break through against the Braves. Haven't beaten the Braves since 2016. Lost to them this year in the regular season. But this game, Kells, who cares about those old games? This was for all the marbles. And I got a chance to attend this year's SWAC championship game. A first for me as a member of the media and a fan of HBCUs and being an HBCU alum. So it was an awesome atmosphere. I mean, I've been to Alcorn games in the past as a student athlete, as a student, not a student, as a student, and then as a member of the media. But this game had an atmosphere like no other. I got a chance to see the Celebration Bowl. I got a chance to take pictures with your friend, your good buddy, Mr. Grant, starting out the game. But this game, because you were watching it, it started out defensively. I mean, you had 4 turnovers to start the game. When you saw the first quarter just play out like that, what was going through your mind as you saw the defenses of these two teams basically say, I'm not going to let you score?
And we were having a watch party, so we didn't catch it at the very beginning. We didn't see the turnovers in the beginning for either side, the fumbles. We didn't see any of that in the beginning. So it was to turn the TV on and finally see what was going on. I couldn't believe it was such sloppy play. And overall, the game was sloppy. Both sides, it was just really sloppy play. On both sides, I could not believe the ball was turned over that many times. And in my humble opinion, the ball was turned over that many times. It should have been like a 50-some point game scoring because they turned the ball over so many times. I just couldn't believe. But to say they kept it that close, and they were just result, how they kept it that close, it was. But when I did see it, it was crazy. They finally, both sides calmed down and they finally got it together and started playing ball.
Southern had 6.
It was 6.
Southern had 6. And Alcorn
it was
had
6
3.
on Southern. Yeah, Alcorn had 3. So it was 6
Yeah.
on Southern and 3 on Alcorn. Yep. And again, it doesn't change anything for me. I said this before, and I don't. I say this about anybody. You have to look at what you had and what you come from into what you have now. I'm not one of those people that just turn on you just because, oh my God, you can't be Alcorn. Okay, it's one game. So we can look at other teams in the SWAC that don't have half of the stats that Odom's have. You tell me another team that has made it to the SWAC championship like that back-to-back has won their conference back-to-back, and then you have an 8-4 record. So the contract was just renewed. So that's not going to happen.
Coach O's contract?
So when people start saying, oh, you should fire Odom, you should fire Fox. Okay, so when you fire them, who you going to get? We can go back to Stump if you want to. We can go back to those days. But
let's go back to Stump.
Yeah,
I want to go back to Stump.
It's a lot of emotional. It's emotional, and I get it. But I think it's, you have to find a way to secure and close out those ball games. It probably hurt me last night for 5 to 10 minutes, about 10 minutes, and then I was like, okay, I'm good. You move on. You become detached from it. I learned to just do what I have to do, and I keep it moving. Same thing with any other sport, any other thing.
Right.
Talk about it, and you move on.
And that actually is a topic I want to talk about. Well, let's run down these stats right quick. Y'all have to excuse me. I have my mic muted. Thank you for staying with us. For the Southern Jaguars, Skelton threw for 159 yards and 3 picks, 3 costly picks. Sims ran for 149 yards, 1 touchdown. Skelton was held in check on the ground, only 46 yards rushing, but he did score 2 touchdowns. Through the air, Hinton was the leading receiver with 40 yards. For the Braves, I call this a SWAC championship out of nowhere. Felix Harper was an inefficient 12 of 25 for 226, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. On the ground, Nico Duffy had 63 yards. Deshaun Waller, 51 yards and 1 touchdown. Trey Turner, a formation 3-yard touchdown run. Through the air, LaCharles Pringle was the offensive MVP, 5 catches for 145 yards and 1 touchdown. Speaking and to end the discussion of that, speaking of fans who want Coach Odoms fired, Coach Odoms is a winning coach. Now, you have to realize, before I started working with Keisha, I had really no knowledge of the inner workings of the Southern University football program. Over the past couple of years, I've been around Coach Odoms. I've been around Southern University football program, basketball program, but the football program more so than anything. And this is a man who loves coaching at Southern. He loves his players. He loves his school. And I think as long as you want him here, he'll stay here, as long as he's treated well, as long as he can continue winning as well. But for fans who want a winning coach fired, you better watch what you wish for. Christmas is around the corner, and you don't want to be wishing for a coach to be fired that is taking you to 2 SWAC championships in a row, that is beating your chief rival, Grambling, 2 times in a row. A man who, for a couple of years, was not able to hold spring practice and still had this team competitive. A man who has continued to improve his winning total each and every year. You better think about that. Y'all remember the last time a winning coach was fired in the SWAC, right? You know what team that was, PP and Kels? The last team that fired a winning
Jackson
coach?
State.
Jackson
Yeah,
State.
and that is, I don't, and that's one thing I don't really like to get into, this whole hiring, firing, what people say across the board, no matter what the conference is, because then you open up a whole nother Pandora box. You open up a whole nother Pandora box because, of course, we know what happened with Southern. We know it happened in the case of when it happened with Coleman G. So I think it's strictly emotions. People are emotional because you come into a game feeling one way,
right,
and you know that the game can go either way. It's the same case situation as we say. You still got 2 more weeks. You got Celebration Bowl coming up. So the same way Grambling felt last week is how Southern felt this week,
right,
is the same way that either Alcorn or North Carolina A&T will feel in 2 weeks. So it just goes. It kind of goes. That's take a commercial break before he calls.
All right, we'll take a quick commercial break. We'll come back and finish that conversation. We're talking about wanting to fire winning coaches. We'll be right back in 31 seconds.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience, and like I said, fans better wait for what you wish for, because Jackson State is still trying to get back to their winning ways. I have come to respect Coach Odoms for not just being a football coach, but for what I see what he brings to your program. And this is a Valley alum speaking. Sitting there watching what this man has done with your program, you need to be glad you have a coach that is doing what he's doing, that is working hard to try. Don't you think he wants to beat Alcorn? He wants to beat Alcorn just as bad as you do. Just like when he had the losing streak to Grambling. He wants to beat Grambling just as bad as you do. He doesn't want to lose to them. I mean, yeah, it's depending on his job security, beating those schools, but this is a winning program. This is a winning football coach. And I have no doubt that Coach Owens will continue to win at Southern as long as the fans and the administration supports him. Because in order for a coach to build a successful program, you need the support of your administration, and you also need the support of your fans. Fans, you're important. I know you're frustrated. I know you're frustrated. I saw a few people poking fun at the offense, wanting Ladarius Skelton move to running back. Because of his struggles.
That's why I said it's no point in beating a dead horse. Like, we'll talk about this for the next 30 minutes. It's like beating a dead horse. The game is over with. The only thing they can do is move on. We at Celebration, the only thing they can do is move on.
Yeah.
Like, what other people want does not change the score. It does not change his position. It does not change the contract. It does not change what Odom's done. The game is over with. Like, Alcorn is, once again, the SWAC champions. That's it. We got to move on from that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But it just was bothering me when I see something like that. And
but Jared, it's not the first time. People do it with every time a coach. They did it last week with Grambling. They do. It's not the first time. It's not the first time.
It's not gonna be the last time.
With every coach. It won't. It won't. They'll be okay.
All right. So before Mr. Keys calls in, we have some other news to talk about. First off, there is some Black College Football Hall of Fame news, Kels, as far as the finalists for the class induction and also Player of the Year. For finalists, let me get this up here. Nice little group of finalists coming in this year. One name that I know that I know you like: Earl Harvey out of North Carolina Central University, James Hunter out of Grambling State University, Eric Williams out of Central State University, Coach Joe Taylor, Hampton University, Virginia Union, and FAMU, Dennis Thomas, MEAC Commissioner and former Alcorn State Brave, and former Black College Experience guest Robert Mathis out of Alabama A&M University. Kels, what do you think about this year's finalists for the Black College Football Hall of Fame?
I definitely agree with the Black College Football Hall of Fame. It's definitely with Robert Mathis, and I'll get a chance to talk to him once he gets here. What I don't really clearly agree on is the finalists for Player of the Year. I don't agree with that.
Now, this is something we can talk about until Mr. Keys gets here.
Yeah, I don't agree with the Black College Football Player of the Year. Philip Hopper, it's no question with his. I'm okay with his. Say Jermaine Martin from North Carolina A&T. I would like to say this, and I will go on the record for saying this. I think it was very biased that Jordan Bentley or Akil Glass did not make the list. It's been several people complaining about that. So
right.
I'll leave that there. I think it's a travesty, especially when you're nationally ranked with your statistics. That duo together was deadly. It's a deadly combo. And neither one of them made.
You're right. I mean, Keys threw for 3,600 yards. I'm sorry, not Keys. Glass. I'm seeing Keys. That means our guest is here. So I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce our guest, Kels, and maybe if we have some time at the end of the show, we can finish that conversation. But Kels, take it away.
All right. So we do. I think me and Mr. I've been meaning to reach out to our guest for a long time. I've caught him in passing a few times. I think once at Morehouse Gala, second time I think at Morehouse Homecoming, but my mind kind of comes and goes when I'm focused on other stuff. I'll kind of walk past and do other things. But we do. We have Isaac Keys, which is, of course, he's a former CFL and NFL player, as I say, turned actor. He did sign as an undrafted free agent in 2001 with the Vikings, and he then played with the Arizona Cardinals for 3 years. Keys was a walk-on for Morehouse, and he played just 3 years, but he was preseason All-American, a two-time Defensive Lineman of the Year, and selected first-team All-Conference. I'm going to let Mr. Keys tell y'all the rest of his story, because that's part of the story.
But I appreciate y'all coming and having me on the show today, man. Y'all doing wonderful things. But, yeah, man, that was a damn good introduction. I appreciate that.
Why, thank you. You know, it's just what I see on the internet. I just pull that, and then whatever you get, we just pull from there.
Right. Now you mentioned seeing each other at homecoming. Yeah, that's always a haze anyway for anybody that's attending Morehouse homecoming. That's such a great time. It's hard to really conduct too much business there anyway, but it's a good time.
All right, Derek, you want to go ahead?
Well, my name is Derek Thomas. I'm the co-host of Black College with Keisha Kelly, and when she first told me you were coming on, I recognized you because I've seen you on some of your acting exploits, and I was like, oh, he's an HBCU alum. I'm like, man, that's awesome. You know, I mean, and one thing I want to ask first, I mean, yeah, you played college football, you played in the NFL, and you're now an actor. Between football and acting, which one do you like the most?
Well, it depends on the different time periods. Of course, at that time playing football, it was football. But now I have to say that I don't miss getting hit in the head and falling down and dealing with all those injuries and things anymore. Now that I'm older, so acting.
Yes, indeed.
Right, but some people say when I chose acting is because I took so many hits in the head in football. That's the reason why I chose a crazy career like acting, because it has its ups and downs too. You know, I've been in the games that people, you know, they always say it takes 10 years to break until like you start to kind of get into in the acting world. And, you know, I'm coming on my 11th year where I can say, okay, well, I've seen like I established myself as a working actor, but it's still ups and downs. You work on one project and then you're waiting for the next. I think I had to say that football and the journey before acting kind of helped me prepare for acting in a sense. And I guess I say this because it was always like I was a grinder. Coming from HBCU, you're always trying to prove yourself, make it work, and you don't have the same circle of friends as somebody that went there to a bigger school. So they go to these organizations, it's, you know, cats that went to bigger schools, they got coaches that went to these bigger schools, a lot of things, so you don't have the same circle of friends. So sometimes it's a grind just trying to find your niche, and it's even the same way in acting. It takes a while to build relationships.
So with you being an actor and then with you having the knowledge you have of football, I mean, do you think, because you know they're always making football movies, I mean, do you think that's going to make you a prime candidate for either, not necessarily just being an actor, because, of course, you know, some actors, once you get your foot in the door, you like to either produce or write or just maybe coordinate the football action. Is that something you think you might want to utilize your student athlete experience as far as mixing it with your acting experience?
I think, of course. There used to be a saying in football, it was like the more you can do, the longer you stay around. So that means the more positions you can play and be dominant or be good, and the longer you can stay in an organization. Oh, well, we can use this guy. He can do so many things. So I think the same thing applies over to acting. And once you kind of get into it, you know, he's acting. So now I'm inspired to try to start directing. So I'll get with some friends around here and start trying to do some short films or doing projects that I have friends doing, and then basically build up. One thing I was able to do, and I advise anybody to do it in any career that you're in, is like, I've been forced to be on a show for the last 3 seasons called Get Shorty. get shorty or airs on Epix. But, Epix is not a channel everybody knows, but we have a great cast with Ray Romano, Chris O'Dowd, myself, and it's just an amazing story based off the book and the film that came out in 95. But it leads me to say that since I've had the opportunity to be on 3 seasons, I took advantage of shadowing directors. So I'll shadow director and see everything that's going on the production side so I can understand it and start trying to get more familiar with it. And so, just trying to take advantage of the opportunities.
Right.
So,
who knows? We know what happened with the Black Panther movie with a black director directing that and how much money he made. But hey,
right.
We know who you have behind you also, the incomparable Spike Lee. So who knows? Maybe you might end up directing the next big African American superhero movie. Don't forget about Black College Experience when you do now. You can cast us in the movie.
I know that's right. Hey, it's all about keeping it all together, keep the family together, for sure.
Kels?
Okay, so you talk about where you are with the acting, and you talk about, take us back to the time when you actually were a walk-in. What prompted, a walk-on? What prompted you to choose Morehouse as that school to be the walk-on? Even though you only played for 3 years, and you amassed some great things in those 3 years. But what prompted you to choose, say, hey, Morehouse is the school that I want to walk on and play football?
You know what? It's always weird when you look back and say, like, well, why did I do that? And then see how it affected your journey, in a sense. And I wasn't recruited out of high school. I was played out of position my senior year, but I knew I wanted to play football. I wanted to go to college to play football. I just didn't know how that was going to work. I actually went to a school called University of North Alabama my first year. Now, mind you, I was my University of North Alabama. It's in Florence, Alabama.
Right. And I'm from Huntsville. I'm from right down the street. I'm from Huntsville.
Okay, yeah, right. Because A&M was right down the street. So, but initially, before I was applying for school, my father pulled out this pamphlet of Morehouse, and I was like, okay, he wanted myself to go to a HBCU. And I was like, Dad, I'm not going to an all-male college. I'm just not doing it. This is college.
I don't blame you, bro.
I'm like, I'm going to college. I'm like, you told me it's going to be the best time of my life. I'm not going to an all-male school. And that's me not knowing that New Clark was around the corner, but I didn't know much about, the AUC in a sense. So I went to a school that wanted me, I was going to walk on, but wanted me to come in and play football. I felt wanted. And that's really what I wanted to feel. So I went to that school, and then I went there. I realized, okay, this can't be college. This is not my high school. I feel like it was a little bigger than this and a little more lively than this. So I went there. I had the experience, and I was like, I want to leave. And to get the script to say, hey, I'm transferring, that's one thing in itself. But I did. My sister was in Atlanta at the time, so I actually applied to Clark, Morris Brown at the time was open, and Morehouse. Morehouse responded back. They allowed me to come in and say, I don't even know if I would have gotten to Morehouse just straight out of high school. Morehouse was real picky with all them grades and them ACT and SAT scores. Morehouse was killing themselves. So, but somehow they let a guy like myself transfer in. So I decided Morehouse. And at the time, Doug Williams was the head coach there. So that kind of
wow.
Right. So that kind of like, okay, well, let me go see if I can get underneath him. So the reason why the 3 years came into play is because when I transferred in, they told me I couldn't play that first season. So I was what I was called to me I was Joe Student. So it allowed me to take in all of Morehouse and see it from all the angles. So my first semester there.
What year did you transfer in?
I transferred in 98, 97, 98. Okay. Yeah, that year. So I transferred in there, and then Doug Williams ended up leaving. So I was just there. And so basically that's where the walk-on came on. So I got to spend a part of Black college as a student and just kind of just taking it all in, realizing Spelman's across the street, across there. So this whole all-male college thing's not so bad because you really don't experience it, like where it's just like right in your face. So it was cool, and I felt more of a college experience. You could see the people from different cities. You could tell at the time the girls from D.C. wearing parasuco jeans and the guys, like you just saw the different cultures in New York. At the time, it was the East Coast, West Coast type thing going on. It was so much more culture that I feel like, and diversity there, I felt like it allowed me to grow. And that's what I wanted to experience in college, and that was part of it. So, yeah.
That's funny hearing you say that Doug Williams was the coach because, of course, the first thing I'm sure me and Derek both thought the same thing. We just automatically, I'm thinking Grambling in the back of my mind. I forget, right. Doug has been all over the place. He truly has. So that's funny. And then saying that you didn't want to go to an all-male college. That's even funnier.
Man, that's the first thing people say.
College ain't no fun if you ain't got no girls to chase. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you ain't lying about that. You got to find yourself in college, man. That's supposed to be, like I said, best time of your life. I tell people, that's where you do your growth at, man. That's where you figure out who you are. You learn all the things your parents tried to instill in you or your mentors instill in you. Like, I remember calling my parents after my first year in school, and I said, thank you for raising me the way you did. Just because it's like that's when it all came to fruition. Like, I see what they were trying to do. So, yeah.
Absolutely. It is the time. So let me before I move into the pro part, we understand the importance of HBCUs, and we don't see that as often as we need to. You know, sprinkled here and there, we get them going into the draft. Most of the time it's undrafted free agency, but here within the last 2 years or so, we have been having, I'm going to say maybe 3 years because Tariq Cohen was one of those two. We are having more of our guys being drafted into the NFL. Talk to us about the importance of HBCUs and things that we can do to make them more visible as far as athletics, as far as the institutions, as far as the culture, because we understand the culture. We understand it when it's, the culture of an HBCU, but a lot of times, even our guys, they don't want to realize that you still can be drafted. If they want you, they'll find you. I live by that motto. And we don't really talk about the culture of athletics because we understand. Somebody once said, we don't lose our guys to LSU's or Alabama's. It's the Louisiana Techs and the smaller schools in between that we lose them to.
Well, I think, but we have to look at why are we losing them to. See, and we talk about this with friends. Like, okay, I speak on Morehouse because that's where I went to school at, and it's Division II school, and I'm proud to represent that school. But I think there's some ownership in where the schools have to take responsibility on. If they want the athletic programs to be noticed or to have more exposure, then they have to put more emphasis behind that, whether it's sports information director or just the administration. Hey, we want football to be dominant. So therefore, make sure that school has all their scholarships, make sure that facilities are up to par, and make sure that they're giving money to the different departments that can show that benefit. If I tell a kid right now to go see Morehouse College or some of the other HBCUs, they go down and they see the facilities. Okay, it's a grass field. The scoreboard is not necessarily working at the present moment, or the locker room is this. But my high school is better than this. And a lot of our HBCUs don't have the facilities to be able to shop off to these players to make it very appeasing. So therefore, that kid has to say, well, it's legacy, or I want to go there because of the education, or because, like I said, legacy. My parents went there. Or still, so we just have to, I think the schools have to do more. We started a football alumni association at Morehouse for alumni players. So now we start, and it's a 501c3. So we accept, donations, and all the players pay dues. It's not just for homecoming, but we try to give scholarships back to the players. We also try to give, things for books. Try to raise money to give things, make money for the facility, because right now we're in talks with the new president is trying to get more of the facilities to look better. Therefore, you can get more people. People don't want to go somewhere and it's just because. Ohio State, you see their facilities, you can look at some of the HBCUs. So unfortunately, I say this all to say that we have to do better. The schools have to do better. And, alumni come in as well and do better as well, too, to try to help these schools and the players.
Okay. So after that, so let's fast forward to after college life. We fast forward to after college life, and it's time to go on. Take us through that process of being undrafted as a free agent, because it started with the Vikings, correct?
Yes, started with the Vikings.
Okay, and then you went over to Arizona. So take us through that time frame, and then take us into your playing time.
Ooh, that's a rough one. It started off like, I say that because, like you said, touch on that. When you go to a school like this, they will find you. But when they find you, the knock is always kind of, the competition you played against, or you didn't necessarily have exposure. To touch on this, I remember my last year at Morehouse, I went to the sports information director, and I said there's so many players, great players that have come through Morehouse, but nobody knew about them because they weren't getting exposure. So I had a conversation with them and said, can you start adding some type of more exposure for our games, announcing when our games are? I remember people at Spelman, I talked to a girl at Spelman, I was like, why you don't come to the football game? He said, I don't even really know about them. I said, wait a minute. I said, well, what time is it? If they're at 1 o'clock, that's kind of early. Wait a minute, come on, man. So, it's trying to get people. It's all about exposure. When somebody hears your name over and over again, and people like it's like Instagram. You click on one thing, next you know you're getting all these different ads. It's just like it's when it's put into your face that much. But I tied into going to football. I was undrafted free agent, but I didn't get picked up right after the draft. They waited a whole month. They told me they were going. Minnesota came in and said, "Hey, we're gonna either pick you up in the late rounds or the free agent." And I said, "Okay." The draft came and went. They said, "Hey, they did something on the roster where." And then the scout was like, well, I'm going to try to do everything I can to get you in. I waited a whole month. That month, I was graduating. My parents told me, you're going to be off the insurance. You need to figure out what you're going to do with your life.
Ooh,
and, a lot of times, a lot of people, man, you know about that health insurance, that cars, everything. So you like, wait a minute. And, a lot of times you get burnt out on school when you come out. You like, I don't know what I want to do. And more often still, everybody else is talking, I'm going to law school. I'm going to do this. They had this whole planned out. I was like, I don't really know. So, eventually, Minnesota called like a month later, and they was like, hey, we want to bring you in for a workout. You can pack a big bag or a small bag, depending on how good you think you are. And I told the coach right there and there, I said, I'm going to pack the biggest bag I got. And I tell this story all the time because it just means that much to me because I did. I went up there and I tried out for the Minnesota Vikings. Denny Green, may he rest in peace, came out there to work out and said, hey, we're going to sign you to a contract. That's a free agent contract. I went back to the hotel room. I called my mom. And, at that time, I'm trying to get my dad on the phone, too. That's a hassle in itself, trying to get both your parents on the phone at the same time. They yelling at each other like, pick the phone up. What? I got it. Pick the phone up. Your son on the phone.
Used to be my mom and dad. That's it. Same time, yelling up and down the stairs.
Right.
My parents.
So I finally got him on the phone. I said, hey, I just want to let you all know I just signed a contract with the Minnesota Vikings. And it just got quiet. And after that point, it got emotional because it was just like they knew it was a dream for me, but we didn't necessarily know what was going to happen. So that was the start. And it was the Vikings, so it was there. I mean, I battled injuries. I battled time to start, but dealing with the HBCU thing, it's like I said, you're always trying to prove yourself. And it's not a bad thing because you get prepared. But I remember they was like, I remember in the locker room, I'm looking around like, dang, I need some gloves. They were like, just go in there and ask for them. I said, you sure? I can just go in there and ask for some gloves? When I was playing in Morehouse, we kept the same gloves and cleats the whole season. You wasn't going to get another pair of gloves or some cleats. It's like,
we understand the hard knocks.
Man, go in there and ask for some gloves. It's cool.
We understand the hard knocks. We do. We understand it.
Man, I understand it completely. So, I mean, it took a while to just start learning, but those are some of the differences. We go to a smaller school, and then we go to a bigger school, and then that's later on going to professionally. But it's how fast can you adapt? So over the period of time, I just, it was like a lot of learning. It was adaptation. The learning curve was a little different for me because they do throw a lot on you quickly, and you need to figure it out, or you will be back home. And so, I went from Minnesota. I had battled a couple of injuries, and then got released. I spent a little time at Green Bay in training camp, and then they released me. I would send me to NFL Europe, which was a great experience. And then I ended up with Arizona, back with Denny Green again, and I just battled it all out for the next 3 years. So I bounced around for a total of 6 years, and I think it was a great experience.
Dear.
So what was it like, going to Canada? I mean, like you said, you had the NFL experience, then you had the NFL Europe experience. So then you went to play in Canada. So you went from playing football in basically 4 different leagues, HBCU league, Morehouse, and the SWAC, then the NFL, then the NFL Europe, and now the Canadian Football League. So what was it like just as far as just your overall experience as far as going from college to the different pro leagues?
I think when I look back on it, man, I mean, I think like I said, all those experiences have helped make me the person and cultivate me the person I am today. And I appreciate that. The Canadian Football League, I mean, it was at a time where the phone wasn't ringing for the NFL. The Canadian Football League was calling. I was like, well, I don't really want to go play in the Canadian Football League. But at the time, I was going through a big transition. I didn't know what was getting ready to happen. We always hear about the players that, on the ESPN and the big players, but there's 53 people on that roster. And there's another 10, I think, on the practice squad. I think they're changing now. You don't hear about all the guys run down the kickoff team that's just struggling to, just make sure they make the team or bouncing around. So, it's a lot of uncertainty in that. And I remember a lot of days just praying for direction. Like, okay, what am I doing? What can I do better? Am I going to, make this team? Am I not going to make it? It's a lot of uncertainty, which just carries over and affects you in other parts of your life. So when Canada came into play, I was at that part. I was uncertain. The phone wasn't ringing for NFL. Arizona wasn't signing me back. So I went up there, and I went halfway through the season. It was already halfway through the season up there. And I came in. Now, that game is different. The field is bigger. Mm-hmm. It's longer, and it's wider. Yeah. They got 3 downs instead of 4. You have to be a yard off the ball. Like a defensive lineman, you can't be right up on the ball. You have to be a yard off the ball. And the way it's structured, I went back to playing defensive end. I was playing linebacker in NFL, but I played defensive end in Morehouse. So now, because it's such a passing league, they want to use me more as a rusher. So I got back to used to that. Now, the great thing about it is that I came in, and eventually I ended up starting as soon as I got there. So, it was good to be on the field playing and have those experiences, but it just wasn't the same, man. It just really wasn't. I didn't have, was it the same? I don't know if it was that part of the time with the career. So I actually prayed on it, like, if this is for me, it's for me. If not, then, we got to move on. And then eventually that opportunity came where I had a chance to move on. It was great being in Edmonton and have that time frame, but, Canadian Football League is just different.
Right. Yeah. And so let's talk about let's let our listeners know, what was one of the first shows you got your big break? What would you say helped you get your big break as far as, having steady work? Because you said it does take a while to earn steady work in acting, because it is an industry to where it's almost worse than football as far as getting replaced. Yeah. if you have to audition so many parts of plays, you may audition for one part. They may feel they want you at another part. So let's just let our listeners know, the grind it takes to audition for a part and the part that helps you get your big break.
The thing about this is different than football. Football, when you do well. Like, you go out there, if you score a touchdown, you score a touchdown, the crowd applause, you get that, you get the accolades and that. You go in this audition room, you go in there, first you may get the sides or with the sides that they want to give you maybe a day before. Lucky if you get it 2 days before. Then you go in the audition room, there's going to be somebody in there and they're just going to be looking, okay, thank you for coming in. All right, we'll start when you're ready. Okay, and then you start a deal, but they're not like, okay, great job. Or sometimes they say great job and it really wasn't. You just leave not knowing until they either give you a call or they don't, and especially at the very beginning of your career, because it's like you don't really have a name. You're just in there auditioning. It's probably for a co-star role, which maybe have 1 line or maybe 2 lines initially at the beginning. So, you leave, again, with some uncertainty, and I think that's why football helped me, because it gave me thick skin and a resiliency to be able to keep on pressing through that, but also a work ethic to work as hard as I can at the craft. But it just takes time. It's like going each time is about building a relationship with that cast director, so now they remember you. Okay, well, I want to bring him in again. That's why they talk about the 10-year thing. So when people say they want to do acting, it's still a lot of work in the craft, but the reason why you have to be able to sustain that storm. So many people move to L.A. to try to get into this game, and they can, but it's not going to happen necessarily when you want it to. So you're going to have that meanwhile job. I went from, playing in NFL to coming out here to L.A., staying on my cousin's couch, because it was just a transition. I wasn't a millionaire leaving football. I actually ended up coming to starting completely over. The real estate market had dropped. I had just complete starters. I had a rock bottom. So it was a big thing coming from football over into acting. It wasn't just like, big-time football player coming to the acting room. They didn't know who the hell I was, and I didn't know what I was doing. So it wasn't no just straight, direct path. It's trial and error. So staying on my cousin's couch and going to try to get in these audition rooms and try to get a commercial agent or another agent, they're not just giving them things to you. It takes time to get all of that. So I think when you said about the break, the first thing I did was on TV is it was actually a reality show. And the reality show at the time was called the Donald Trump Ultimate Merger. Yes, they had Trump's name and shit. Excuse my language. But, Trump's name on that, and it was on TV One. And initially, I didn't want to do it because I was like, at the time, reality TV, actors didn't do reality TV. It's like they probably didn't take you serious. But a guy who I was dealing with, he's actually out of Morehouse too, Eddie Rodman, he became a publicist. So when he became a publicist, he called me over to the Cardinals right towards the end. He was like, all right, let me be a publicist. So he started kind of putting me in different rooms, and that's when I started getting into feeling the acting vibe. Mm-hmm. And I started meeting people like my brother, like Lamar Rucker, Chris Gross. I met these guys on the Essence thing, two who did a panel, and they became friends of mine. I started getting this acting bug kind of going, and that's what made me move to L.A. And I say this, I auditioned for reality show. He's like, man, just do it. You know, people get to know your personality, they can see who you are, you know, and it's the first time they want to put you out in a great light. It's the first time they did an African American bachelorette, and let alone pretty much minorities as the bachelors. So TV1 had this whole idea, so they kept it real tight-lipped, and then we shot it. And Omarosa was the bachelorette. And we didn't know that before we auditioned. So nobody knew who the bachelorette was going to be. We just in this room in Trump Towers, and then she comes through the door. And I just said, okay, game on.
So basically, you all were trying to. So basically, this was like the flavor of love for Omarosa, kind of, sort of.
I guess you can put in that category. Yeah, I guess you can. But it was just different because it was guys going after a woman. So to me, it felt like I was just in training camp. We all stand in place. So it just felt like, you know, we competing, but we can be cool. And we actually got really close. Albie Shore was on there at the time. And so I knew my sister's a little older than me, so she was really a big fan of Albie Shore, especially being a female. I knew who he was. I was like, yeah, that man, he's getting it. The light-skinned icon, they used to call him back in the day. But no, he became like a big brother to me, too. Actually helped in my transition to moving to L.A., so I always give him props. And I'm always supportive of what he does.
Now, you lasted to episode 7, so that means, you know, like, you were doing well.
Yeah, I lasted. I lasted as long as I needed to. I was third to last to go, and I said that was just as far as I need to go. And but it taught me a lot. Just, you know, because reality's different. They got them cameras rolling. They always trying to create some type of storyline, whether it's good or bad, put you in some type of position where you get a reaction out of you. And I remember even after the show, I was developing a relationship with TV1. I was like, yeah, I'm ready, getting to acting. So, you know, if you have any shows coming up, let me know to audition for them. They did. They put me with Tatiana Ali. I forgot the name of the show, but it was on TV1. And I went in for an audition, and it's like love interest. Coming as a love interest. I'm like, okay, love interest. Oh, that means I need to put a suit on. Okay. This is me totally green. Okay, I'm going to put a suit on, and I got the size. I'm going here in the audition room. Man, it was terrible. It was bad. Like, it was like, I was in there, you know, the nerves started getting to you. You know, you think you're going to say something one way and it comes out a whole nother way. And you like, okay, I don't even know what to do. I just want this to be over with. And I remember calling the lady who got me an audition. I said, well, what do you think? She said, well, you know, you're just a little green right now. I was like, that was a nice way of putting it.
So what was it like meeting Tatiana Ali?
Say it again?
What was it like? You say this was with Tatiana Ali. Did you get a chance to meet her?
I didn't get a chance to meet her. You're not going to meet, when you're going to do the audition, you're not going to, rarely do you do it with another person. You're doing it with a reader and a camera. And it was actually, the scene was with her, supposed to be with her, but she's not going to be in the audition room. So, and I didn't do well enough to meet her. So,
the thing is, you know how it was, like you said, you didn't want to be in no all-male college. They need to put the woman in front of you, man, so you can turn the charm on, man.
Tell me about it. It needs to, man. Instead, that's where the acting comes in. You got to create this whole environment when you get in this room. Yeah, so I got to make this black man Tatiana Ali when I go in the room.
Definitely not. No, thank you.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to either, but that's when the acting comes in. Because you got to create that whole bubble for you to be able to make the truth come out in this scene. So, I mean, that's that question. I mean, I guess the biggest thing of the break was starting off with that ultimate merger on TV1, and then it just kept lighting the fire. And I just kept on working on the craft. And then little roles here and there, co-star roles on different shows, and, you know, leading to now. Now we just keep on pushing.
Yeah, I mean, I see you in Jurassic World. So now I've seen that movie. So now I'm going to have to tell us, what are you playing in Jurassic World? Because I've seen you in Get Shorty.
Jurassic World, I played a control room security guard. Well, obviously wasn't that good of a security guard because he seemed to let everybody in there, but it was great to be on a show of that magnitude. I mean, that show broke. I mean, that
at least you didn't get eaten.
That's what I said too. Because when I got the audition, I said, "Okay, I'm black," and I said, "I got to work on my getting ate face, like being ate by a dinosaur, like being chased or something. You got to work on that emotion." But I didn't, man. I didn't get. I left. I left that control room.
You survived.
I survived, man. I thought they were gonna bring me back for the next one. I said, "I know y'all need a control room security guard for the next one," but I didn't get that call. So moving on.
Yeah, because I've actually seen you in I watched Major. Me and my mom, we watch all the crime shows. So I've seen you in Major Crimes. We actually had the free trial of Get Shorty, of Epics.
There you go.
And we watched it. We watched it. Get Shorty. We also watched the show where Forrest Whitaker's playing Bumpy Johnson. So yeah, when Keisha said, when I saw your picture, I was like, I know that guy, and I was like, oh yeah, see him on TV, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Epic's trying to do their thing, man. I know we still wait to see if they'll bring back Get Shorty for a season 4. It's hard for shows to get that many seasons, but we got to just let it be what it's gonna be. Hopefully so.
Keisha.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just going to say, can I have an autograph? But no, seriously, you have a very interesting story.
Right.
That's from you went from football, which is, that's probably most people's dream. Of course, playing collegiate sports, most guys, is what they want to do. If they're playing football, that's their dream to go play pro football. So you were able to turn your walk-on into going to play pro football. And then to also be able to, go into LA and become an actor. And just listening to you said I was sleeping on my cousin's couch. That's so funny because I know a lot of people in LA, that's how it all sounds like it starts off. So I commend you. I commend you very much on that. Y'all need to do some sports stuff. Y'all tell them maybe do a sports reality show because we coming. We need the sports reality stuff because we coming. But
no, they do.
Or whenever you get an audition for a sports movie and they need a sports caster, you already know Keisha. Go ahead and get her in there.
You go. For sure. That's what it's all about, man. I think it's about getting to a position where you can give back and help others and pull other people up. I totally believe it because as you didn't see through life, it's all about networking and getting to know people and then people pull you in. The biggest resources are people that you know on your phone and you actually can call and, hope you build a good relationship with integrity and they want to help you.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of times we don't see that. We don't utilize that. And I say that wholeheartedly because even looking on social media, we did a show, 2 weeks ago with Bayou Classic. And literally, when I say scrambling, trying to figure out who to have for guests, I now look at my friends list and half of that 1999 Dog Day defense are on my friends list. So I'm just like, how did I miss all of these people? But it's like in haste, you're trying to comb through and find people. So, it is. It's just about networking. But
it is.
Before we leave, are there any closing thoughts that you want to give us and tell us where people can find you, look for you, as far as social media, movies, TV shows, anything you want to leave us with?
I think one thing is that, even when I sit here and I talk to you all and I start reflecting on my story, it's like it was so many times where I was told no. I know we hear that a lot, but I just didn't know how to take no for an answer. We always try to figure out what we want. And I think the biggest thing is just to keep moving, just staying active and keep working on yourself. A lot of times, we got people worried about relationships and all that, but we need to spend time working on ourselves. And I see that now, and I think Lamar Jackson said, work harder, nobody cares. And he had a T-shirt on for this thing. I was like, it resonates so much to me and I think to others. So I just say that, as telling my story, I hope it inspires. I love to share it. I hope it inspires people to just keep on shooting for what they want. And just keep fighting. If it alternates, the plan changes, then just change and move to the next one. You can find me. It's simple. I keep everything Isaac Keys. So Instagram is Isaac Keys, ISAACKEYS, and everywhere. But yeah, reach out to me, find me, and I'll try my best to respond and try to continue to just keep on inspiring and making myself better than others around me.
Most definitely. And what I like to tell our guests, your first visit, you're a guest. Now you're family. So anytime you want to call in and talk about HBCU sports or just check in and check in with us Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, man, feel free to give us a call. Interact with us on social media. Definitely give us a call and give us your opinion on things that we're talking about, because that's one thing that we want to push our former guests to just feel comfortable enough to just call in without having the invite because
All right, now be careful. Be careful what you ask for.
Hey,
now I'm gonna call in and harass y'all.
Do it. I mean, that's what we want because here's the thing: if it's anything like this, like our show, we feature individuals like yourself who went to HBCUs, who were student athletes, and then after your education is done in school, you get the education in life. And we want to know how your black college experience has allowed you to persevere and succeed in whatever career that you chose for yourself. And we know all those nights at Morehouse prepared you to be an actor, initially a struggling actor, and now a working actor. So you can go back to those study nights or those practices at Morehouse and say, you know what, I played football for an HBCU. I earned my degree from prestigious Morehouse College. I can work in this acting world. So, and like I said, your story is something that, hey, when you do get big, I mean, it's going to be an awesome book. And then you can make sure you put in there that you were a guest on Black College Experience. So that,
right.
So that, Keisha can make sure that, because that's what we like to do. We like to make sure that we let our guests know that you're family now. So
I appreciate that. I want to commend you all. For doing what you are doing. You are doing a great thing. Keep it up. Keep doing it. And like you said, I appreciate being family now. So please call me if you need anything on my end. Keep doing what y'all doing, man. Thank you for having me. Shout out to Morehouse and all the HBCU.
Next time I see you, this time I will speak. Now, I will speak. Now, I'm only 4'11", so I'm small. But, yeah, I'm definitely...
You just sneak up on me there, that's all.
I'll be sure to tap you on the back, because I definitely can't reach the shoulder.
I appreciate that. Okay. Thank you for having me. I appreciate y'all.
And then I thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Kels, man, that was interesting, man. See, you be finding some of the most interesting guests. My guests mostly be sports people, but you find people, your circle is so broad. I mean, you find the HBCU alums who were athletes who are now like business owners, doctors, lawyers, actors. I mean, man, he was interesting. Like I said, I have been watching Get Shorter on Epics. My mom was like, Derek, you got Epics free. So I have been watching it and now getting a chance to talk to a guy that I'm seeing on TV,
The funny thing is that a lot of people don't realize it's so many people that come out of Morehouse that have so many things that they do. Morehouse they produce so many things. So you can find athletes, doctors, business owners, board members. They're across the board at Morehouse. They truly are across the board. And the crazy thing is that I had seen his social media somewhere. And then when I went to their gala, somebody was like, oh, yeah, he does this, this, and this. And that's been a while ago. And then I was like, oh, yeah. And then I kind of looked again. I was like, wait, I was supposed to reach out to him. And I had saw him like 2 or 3 times. And I never said anything. And I was like, I wonder if he remembered, because he introduced himself to me. But I was like, I wonder if he remembers me from the gala. And apparently he didn't. So I was like, oh, let's try this. So when I reached out to him, he did. He responded. He was like, hey, here's my number. Text me. And I respond better. And then we just kind of went from there. So it was kind of like the same thing with Robert Mathis. Just like, okay, boom. When they respond, you're like, oh, for real? So, yeah, it just, kind of goes from there.
Yes, indeed. Before we get out of here, the Celebration Bowl is in a couple of weeks. And we want to congratulate these 2 HBCU teams. We don't have to preview the Celebration Bowl tonight because we got 2 weeks until the Celebration Bowl champion will be crowned. Alcorn State representing the SWAC, North Carolina A&T representing the MEAC. It's all going to be going down in Atlanta, and Kels is going to be up in the place.
I will definitely be in the building. I will be there to cover Celebration Bowl. Everything is already approved and ready to roll. I'm super excited. This game has been pushed back. Last year was on December 15th on my actual birthday. So this year it will be on December 21st. So we got about 2 weeks, literally like 2 weeks before this game kicks off. It's at 12 o'clock at Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta. So we are excited to welcome both Braves and Aggies. We're excited to welcome both teams. About the Jags. We're excited to welcome both teams from both Carolina and from Mississippi. I always got some offer nights. It's like, okay, hey, we're going to link up. So I'm excited. I mean, I told offer night that they owe me dinner. She was like, what? I was like, you owe me dinner. I don't care if we lost. I just flipped the tables. It has nothing to do with it. You're coming here, so I'm asking for dinner. But I am. I'm really excited. I'm excited for this Celebration Bowl. I don't like the fact that it's being pushed back later, though. I don't like the late time because it's so close to Christmas. But, yeah, so next week, I got to be honest with you. I will not be on air next week, guys. Next Sunday is my birthday. So I will be missing in action. I will turn 39 next Sunday. My twin and I will turn 39 as God says the same.
You said
I am 1 year from 40.
You said you're not going to be on the air. I mean, you don't. I'm not going on the air without you.
So that means we will not have a show.
Oh, okay. I'm finna say like, well, then you're going to still have a show. I'm going to be out celebrating my birthday. You still have a show. I'm like, hold up, wait.
Nope.
You know. So.
We will not have a show on it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man, I make sure I hit you up on your birthday, tell you happy birthday, and yeah, we won't be on next week. We got 2 weeks to prepare for the Celebration Bowl. Can't wait to see who takes home the trophy.
And before we get out of here, let me ask y'all, and I know they do here in Atlanta. You're in Louisiana, Patrick's in Mississippi. Do y'all have a G League basketball team?
No.
Yeah.
We don't. Who got a G League? Louisiana?
The Memphis Hustle. Yeah, the Memphis Hustle is in South Haven.
Oh, that's Memphis, man. Oh, so they're actually housed in South Haven, Mississippi.
In South Haven, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I know at one point Baton Rouge and Jackson were finalists for a G League team, but I don't think we got it. I don't remember who got it, though.
The reason why I ask is because Atlanta has the College Park Skyhawks, and so y'all know naturally the first thing I do is look at the roster to see where the people come from, and I ran across a kid that came from Tennessee State.
Uh-oh.
So I went to the game today, and I was like, hopefully we start getting more of these guys on the thing. So I'm just going across everybody's roster to try to kind of see where they're coming from and what team. But I did find a kid on this College Park Skyhawks team that came from Tennessee State.
All right, we had to reach out to him and get him on the show then. You know, because we know Amir Henry still doing his thing for the Knicks G League squad. You know, they may be calling him up to the main roster soon with all the mess that the Knicks is going through. But hey, as long as he gets called up to the big squad, that's all that matters. So, okay, let's go ahead and close us out.
All right, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for another week of Black College Experience. Make sure you follow us on all social media. We thank Mr. Key so much for joining us. If you missed it, we're sorry for you.
Right,
but we will be back on December. We'll be back on December 22nd, the day after Celebration Bowl, to give you the recap of everything that happened. Only one team can win. That's going to either be Alcorn or North Carolina A&T. It comes down to McNair or Washington. Now, we know this is the third time that they will be playing, so we're going to see if Alcorn can secure the Celebration Bowl trophy, or will it once again go back to North Carolina A&T?
Okay, well, let's go ahead and pick who's going to win then. Who y'all picking? Since we ain't going to be on next week.
Patrick, you first.
I'm going to go ahead and go with Alcorn because they got something that they didn't have in the past. That's a throwing threat. Harper can run, so that's what can beat Central. I mean, not Central, A&T. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Alcorn.
I'm going to roll with the Braves as well. I will, even though our Valley alum is the head coach of North Carolina A&T, but you're the enemy. Alcorn is not the enemy for this game. They're actually family. SWAC. Can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah. Braves, come on with it. Bring the celebration troll back to the SWAC.
And then me, last but not least, I'm not biased to conference. I'm going to go with North Carolina A&T.
All right, so that's to have it. We're going to see who wins this pick'em. And Kels is going to be enjoying her birthday next week. and I get a night off. Yay! Ha ha. So we out of here. Peace out.
Good night.